This is a Ryobi P731. It's a inflator. Some people would call this a small air compressor. It's basically got a small computer-controlled air pump. It's unique in that it has a computer control setting for your air pressure when it's inflating something, and it can also work to deflate things. So if you need to use a little bit of vacuum, let's say to deflate a large air mattress or an inflatable boat or something like that, this can serve for that purpose too. Uses the ONE+ batteries like a lot of the rest of the stuff in the ONE+ system. We'll be testing it here in a couple of minutes after I explain some of the features on this thing. It has hoses on two sides. Now, I'm not sure if that means it has two compressors inside, but it apparently has two different modes. The little rocker switch here basically is directional, so the middle is off. This side means it's going to run this one. This side means it's going to run this one. The interesting thing that it does with the inflator deflator type thing, let's say for low pressure air-filled stuff, air mattresses, inflatable toys, pool toys, stuff like that, it uses this high volume hose, which if you try to inflate little stuff with these little hoses, it just takes forever. And then you run a danger of popping it, right? Because a lot of times you have that little thumb wheel knob thing. Well, it doesn't go down to the 3 to 5 or maximum 10 psi that you're dealing with on a lot of things like inflatable boats, air mattresses, stuff like that. Those aren't high pressure items. So if you start running high pressure air into them, it's pretty dangerous from the standpoint that you could pop something. And one thing you can do is you can reverse the hoses on things like a little DeWalt vacuum cleaner, things like that. But this is also a fraction of the price of the DeWalt vacuum cleaner. In fact, it's even a fraction of the price of Ryobi's equivalent vacuum cleaner. These things go for about 40 bucks at Home Depot. Kind of an interesting setup. So you've got a little retractable hose type assembly here, and then of course you would set this thing for vacuum or pushing. So basically you can inflate or deflate something. So this setting it's inflating. And then there's another way of reversing some stuff so we can deflate. I have no way of demonstrating the deflate mode on this thing right now, so we could maybe do that in another video. But the deflate basically means that we hook it up to here, which is normally the inlet valve for the air, and it deflates stuff. So it's just a matter of where you hook up the little hose. So I don't know. The other thing you got to look out for in some environments would be there's no dust filter on this. So it's not a vacuum cleaner. Anything that comes in here is going to come out there. There's no dust filter on that. We've got a basic battery docking station for the ONE+ batteries. Kind of interesting out of the way spot. They obviously sized it to fit all of the batteries. So this particular lithium ion, it's the smaller one. I don't expect majorly better performance on something like this if I were using, let's say, the P108 battery. Over here we have the default chuck is a tire inflator, and then there's a couple other little attachments we can use for, let's say, basketball, baseball, or not baseball, but footballs and sports balls, stuff like that. This other little inflator chuck for other types of items, and it looks like they kind of have different attachment methods for that. Kind of cute. And this is a relatively standard type of a thing. Now, one of the cool features for this is that you can actually dial in the pressure that you want. So once this turns on, we have a limit setting thing. So let's say I got to fill up a tire and I want to go 55 psi on that tire. Kind of got to play with the thing here because it resets to 0 every time you turn it on. But I'm going to run it up to 55 psi. Actually, those truck tires. Okay, so 56 psi. And then, so that's what I set the limit at. And then I guess it goes back to 0 to show there's 0 in there. And then as we plug it in, we start going. It's going to build itself up and hopefully cut itself off when we're done getting to the pressure we need. So here it's a little bit noisy, but we can see it's hooked up to a tire. The tire's low, and as it builds up pressure, it's building up the feedback pressure on it too. So we see how the PSI is going. Pretty slow progress. And, I'm sure everybody out there in YouTube land doesn't have the patience to watch this thing go up a half a PSI at a time. But the good thing about having an inflator like this is you can walk away from it and it's not going to blow your tire apart by overinflating. So you can turn off the camera here in a few seconds, walk away, come back, and hopefully you didn't blow my tire apart. It just cuts off at the 56 PSI that I have this thing set at. Okay, so here we can see it's still cooking up, still pumping air. I rechecked the label on the tire, and these tires apparently only go up to 35 PSI. So while it's running, it's pretty easy to you press this button right here, use this plus and a minus to reset the limit on where we want the pressure to be. And so I'll come back in a minute, see if that thing's topped out at 35 and gets turned off. Here we see it's maintaining a 34 PSI. I think I'd set it to 35, but it apparently has a little 1 PSI range that it will not necessarily go and turn the pump on every time it's a half PSI low. So it reached the pressure that I reset while it was running, and apparently you're able to do that. And once the tire was up, it turned off. It's still hooked up. So the thing I like about this is it's safe to walk away from. It's safe to hook it up to a tire that's not inflated, or let's say inflatable mattress or something to that effect. It's safe to hook something up and walk away. Although I don't necessarily see a back pressure sensor on the inflatable mattress side. The thing is, there's going to be a certain maximum pressure that thing's capable of doing before the little fan motor just can't do anymore. And that's why I kind of get the impression this thing runs two separate devices inside the box. So, yeah, it's two separate devices inside the box. And for the money, that's not bad. $39.95, Home Depot. You know, it's not a heart and soul product endorsement that I would give on this, but I would say, you know, why not? It looks decent to own.